The E3 conferences start in 10 or so days, so I thought it'd be a good idea to get out my predictions before the actual event. So here we go. Sony's conference is going to be pretty boring in my opinion. They're going to have a VR section at one point that I don't care about because I don't have VR yet. They're going to show up the new Spider-Man game again, even though I think it's a QTE fest. They're going to show up that Last of Us looking game that isn't The Last of Us and looks kind of boring. There's not going to be a lot of hard hitters like there usually is, like with Uncharted and Last of Us and Little Big Planet, because God of War just came out and they don't really have anything else lined up. And this is for the AAA big boy games, the one made by development studios that they own. However, I would put a little bit of faith in their indie showcase this year, because I just have a feeling it's going to be good, you know? They haven't really shown off their indie games or have any really like, whoa, look at this crazy indie game instances in a couple of years. So I'd imagine it'd be like some kind of reveal this year of like some like good indie games that haven't been shown before. Or at least they've been on PC before and now they're on PS4. Less procedurally generated 8-bit voxel style video game, and more creative, unique ideas in the indie game department this year. Also, there's gonna be a part where they start talking about boring shit like TV that nobody cares about, investor talk. That's kind of a given, I guess, for every conference in E3 ever. So all in all, even though I'm a Sony pony, I think this conference is gonna be just forgettable. Maybe the pre-show will be cringy and funny at the same time, but that's really it. I just don't have a lot of hope, because God of War just came out, Detroit Become Human just came out, and these are the big games that are toting at each E3. Now, there is an exception here, and that's if they want to reveal Kingdom Hearts 3's release date. That's really it. That's the only thing I can imagine. And this is also excluding like any original IPs that might be coming up with their sleeve. Those, of course, are just always surprises for everybody. You can't really predict them unless they get leaked. So when it comes to their existing IPs and their existing studios already that are already well known, I think it's going to be a boring E3 because they've already had games this year. All of them, basically, David Cage, God of War, Uncharted, has reasons why it's not getting any more games. You can probably guess why if you've played the games. I'm not going to say anything to avoid spoilers. Little Big Planet, I just don't see them getting another one, because Little Big Planet 3 I heard didn't sell well, and it wasn't favored positively by the fans. So like the only exception I guess could be Little Big Planet 4 if they want to try to come back to form with it. But that's really it. That's the only like major thing I can think of, honestly. On to Microsoft. Half of it is going to be sports games nobody cares about. I can already confirm that. Happens literally every single year. Nobody cares about them because they're literally the exact same game every single year with 1 or 2 new modes and roster changes, and that's it. So it's totally going to happen this year. I'm just like 100% faithful in the fact that they're going to be like, hey, here's FIFA, exact same game again. Here's NFL, exact same game again. Here's NBA, exact same game again. And we all know it's coming, so like there's no point in announcing it because they make a different game each year. But they're going to announce it anyway, even though literally nobody needs to know this and nobody cares. Except for the fans, I guess, of those games. But they know it's coming, so they don't need the announcement. To make up for this, however, they're going to have actually interesting announcements alongside of their stupid FIFA announcements or whatever. But not in the originality department. More like in the remaster department. Now, I know Xbox One has backwards compatibility with the old Xbox 360 game, like Saints Row 2. But I could see them announcing a remaster for some games, even like Halo, even though they already have a remaster for Halo. I could see them doing it again, including more Halo games. With the Halo example, they would shove in Halo 5 and Halo ODST, and then re-release another package of remasters for the Xbox One. Along with some remaster announcements, they're going to show off those games we've seen already on Twitter and stuff, like Battlefield, I think, 5, and Fallout 76. And the reason why they're going to do this is because it's good games. People are going to buy them, I guess. That's really all there is to it. They're going to like show off trailers and shit for them. Probably have a live demo or two. But that about sums up my guesses for Xbox's demo. Microsoft's demo. I'm going to leave that outtake in. But I don't really do Microsoft. I don't really pay attention to them because usually their things are always really, really boring. So in this year's conference, I'm expecting them to pull out some hard hitters because I know Xbox has had a couple of slump years, and they haven't had any major games in a recent amount of time. Most of their big hitters recently have been ported to PC within a year or so, leaving kind of a bitter taste, I guess, in Xbox fans' mouth, or at least I would imagine so. Again, I'm not an Xbox fan. I don't have an Xbox One. I don't have an Xbox 360, and I never got an Xbox. I have an Xbox controller, and it's kind of messed up. But again, I'm no Xbox guy. But that's my guess, because usually their conferences are pretty snoozy. I have a feeling they're going to try to break that trend this year with their conference and try to increase the amount of happiness in their player base, rather than the dissatisfaction in announcing the same shit every single year which causes everybody to tab out and go back to playing their video games while waiting for the next conference to start. Nintendo is going to full-on American this conference. What I mean is they're going to annihilate everybody else in the pursuit of money. How, you ask? They have Smash Brothers. They could just announce oh, we're going to put in Cloud's left hair follicle again and nerf it so it's more balanced, and Bayonetta as well. We're fixing her, and it'd be over. E3 would be over. No other games matter. Also, unlike the other developers, Nintendo actually revealed a game they should have revealed before E3 to prevent people getting disappointed that it was revealed at E3. It sounds a little silly, but here's the thing. People get disappointed when they see cutesy games at E3. They want to see the big budget, crazy... I know I made a weird noise there, but you get the idea. Those crazy huge games that are just mind-blowing. You can't barely even describe them, Not to mention that Nintendo's only announced one game so far before E3, and usually developers like to announce these games that are unhype-inducing, I guess. The smaller, more cutesy, more experimental games, because people don't get hyped about them and then they complain about them on the internet. An example of this would be with World of Final Fantasy. A lot of people didn't like it at E3 when it was revealed, but it was still a really good game. They probably should announce it beforehand, though, before demoing it at E3 instead, or revealing the trailer for it. Nintendo has basically done this with their Pokemon Let's Go games they just revealed on Twitter the other day. Also, Nintendo starts to show off Metroid Prime 4, which is another heavy hitter, along with Smash 4. There's also the possibility of Mario Odyssey DLC, which is always great and adds just wonderful things to the game, it seems so far. Hopefully they can keep it up with more and more and more Mario Odyssey DLC if it's paid. Could also announce Splatoon 2 DLC and ARMS DLC. It's kind of funny that nowadays I think Nintendo's going to be killing it at this E3, when before as a kid I thought they were the worst ones at every single E3 ever. It's almost like it's been flipped around. Sony and Microsoft lack creativity while Nintendo is always going out with crazy shit. And usually it's free too, which is amazing. I really like that. So those are my opinions on the big boys this E3. Let's go into the smaller boys. EA's conference, also known as EA Play, is going to be really, really boring. It's going to reveal nothing. It's just going to go further in depth into the sports games mentioned in Xbox's God damn, I did it again. Microsoft's conference. However, at the end, they're going to reveal something really cool, like SSX 5, or some kind of new dancing game. Some kind of sport that's been explored before, but they're going to try to revive it since it's been dead for a while now. What sport? I'm hoping for snowboarding, because we haven't had a good snowboarding game in a very, very long time. There's been a couple of attempts, but none of them have been groundbreaking, or at least just fun, like Wii Ski and Snowboard. Those are the last two fun snowboarding games I ever played. Either way, expect it to be on modern consoles, and expect it to be a crazy snowboarding, or extreme sport, or just sport that's been dead for a while in video games. Video game. Ubisoft will spend their time on their conference explaining why Fallout 76 is not Fallout 4, on what similarities it does have, and what differences it does have. Along with that, they're going to have a ton of surprises. Usually they like to have oh, here's an extra surprise about this thing we just talked about. So they're probably going to do that again, have extra surprises with every single thing they talk about. Square Enix will undoubtedly reveal Final Fantasy XV's next season pass. If Kingdom Hearts 3's release date isn't revealed beforehand, they'll also reveal it here probably. And since there's been a lot of doubts about it recently, I'd imagine they give us some update on the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Wouldn't be expecting a lot of surprises from their conference. I just expect updates to existing games we don't know much about, or at least products we don't know much about yet, like Final Fantasy XV Season Pass. We know it exists, but we don't really know much about it. Okay, so that's the smaller conferences. Now onto random ideas I had and I thought they might appear at E3, and I hope they do. A lot of reorganizing has been going around with the Capcom Vancouver team. You can see a lot of posts about it on the Dead Rising Reddit, so I think they might tease Dead Rising 5 on one of the trailers during one of the press conferences, rather than an offhand announcement. But it'll just be a minor teaser, not like a major gameplay trailer. I'd be surprised if there's any gameplay at all, but it'll probably just be like a little teaser for Dead Rising 5 during the conferences. With them just finishing up a product right now called Dissidia NT, Team Ninja will make another Dead or Alive game because they have free time, I guess. We might get a teaser trailer, or a full-on gameplay trailer if they decide to reuse assets from Dead or Alive 5, rather than making a completely new engine and all these new graphics and whatnot, compared to the jump between Dead or Alive 4 and Dead or Alive 5. Maybe let's do another, Dead or Alive 5, but with more stages, for example, or new gameplay mechanics. I guess the latter is more plausible, basically porting over Dead or Alive 5's characters and whatnot to a new game, and then making new stages and a couple new characters, and then releasing it as a new game, along with a new story mode possibly too. They'd probably get rid of the Retro Fighter and other crossover characters, however, so if you like them, kind of sorry about that, but they're probably going to be gone in the next game. And here's hoping it disappears at all. In an unrealistic world where I get what I want every single time, I'd hope they would go back to the anime style of the past games, because the current style is just boring in my opinion. We haven't had a good anime looking game in a long time, And the current art style looks like something you'd see out of like, oh, protect me, my leader, advertisements on Google. You know, those like really weird, like sexually explicit tower defense games. It looks kind of like that. So return the anime style would be kind of nice because I like the way it looks, but more likely than not, it's going to look exactly the same as Dead or Alive 5, just with some new stuff added to it. I'm just hoping it's a new game, honestly. I'm tired of just playing Dead or Alive 5 at this point. Here's hoping to a PC release to go along with the console versions being launched at the same time, maybe. Honestly, I just want to play it on PC again, and I got robbed of it with Dead or Alive 5. Another Okami game would be pretty cool. Okami didn't came out way back on the DS, back in, Jesus, 2010. Yeah, that series is long overdue for another game. Here's hoping. It would follow another animal with a different power. It probably wouldn't take place on the same island again, because having the same island fall into peril multiple times is kind of lame. So maybe it'd be a new location too. A new Saints Row game being announced would be super dope, because let's be real here. Let's be like super real here. Like more real than I've ever been before. Agents of Mayhem was not a Saints Row game, and no one bought it because it didn't have co-op, and it wasn't fun, and it was not a Saints Row game. If it was a Saints Row game, people would have bought it. They always do, even if they're bad, like with Saints Row 3 and Saints Row 4, which in some levels could be considered worse than Saints Row 2, but people still bought them because they were funny and fun and immature as fuck. But Agents of Mayhem just didn't cut it. So another Saints Row game, perfect time to announce it right now. I think another Bloodborne would be announced because they just released Dark Souls Remastered. They want to make Dark Souls 4. And Bloodborne could use a sequel. All games get Battle Royale versions of themselves. Every single one. Name literally any video game you have in your inventory at all. That game has a Battle Royale version. Confirmed. Con-fucking-firmed. Okay, to end this whole video, because most of you expect me to talk about Dissidia most of the time, I will make one last thing about Dissidia. There's going to be a Q&A panel at one of Square Enix's live streams. I don't think anything significant is going to be shown there for Dissidia because it's an English stream. They've only done Japanese streams so far. I'd be surprised if they showed anything from Dissidia that was significant, like a stage or a character or costumes even. Maybe they'll show player icon. That's like basically like an E3 exclusive player icon for people who went there. That's what I'm expecting. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time on Blue the Hedgehog. Stay safe on your mom and subscribe for more content about Dissidia or other video games. Bye bye.